Hello, my beautiful people, and welcome to today's video. Today, we are going to be breaking down the Phala Phala trial. This is a story of secrecy, as you all know, power, and shocking revelations. Here are the top key occurrences that we'll be covering today in this video. We will talk about the farm theft that was exposed, the secret that was kept, revelations of foreign cash, Hazim Mustafa's Buffalo deal, my people. Cash in the couch, bombshell. The witness fear. Not guilty pleas. Defense strategies. Foreign currency laws and cell phone and forensic evidence. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited to bring you yet another video. If you're new here, make sure to click out the playlist on Allegedly. I've covered a range of topics from true crime to politics, current affairs, spirituality, and entertainment. And there's much more to come. But before we get into today's discussion, I want to share a few disclaimers. Firstly, all the information I'll be sharing today comes from credible sources such as the media outlets or directly from the individuals involved. I want to assure you that I won't be making any facts. Everything discussed here has been previously reported or disclosed by the parties themselves. Additionally, I'll be providing updates on any ongoing court proceedings related to the cases that may need such an update. And finally, it's important to note that the information discussed in this video remains allegations until proven otherwise in the court of law. With that said, let's not delay any further and dive straight into today's topic. It all started on a quiet farm. This was Phala Phala, a private game farm owned by South African President Cyril Ramaphosa. In February 2020, something happened there that would capture the nation's attention for years to come. A large sum of money was stolen, hidden inside the president's house. The news did not break immediately. It stayed a secret for a long time. When the story finally came out, it exploded into a huge scandal. People had so many questions. Why was there so much cash at the farm? Where did it come from? Why was the theft not reported to the police in the usual way? The Phala Phala farm theft, my people, became more than just a crime story. It became a story about power, secrecy, trust in leadership. The trial that followed has been watched closely by everyone in South Africa and beyond. Every day brings a new surprise. A new piece of information makes the story more complicated. The courtroom has become a strange place and a stage where shocking details are revealed one by one. These details, or bombshells I would use, have painted a picture that is so hard to believe. They touch on how the money was stored. The first and the most stunning bombshell is the amount of money involved. The court heard that the thieves stole approximately $580,000. This is a huge sum, my people, equivalent to many millions of South African rands. It was not in a bank account. It was physical cash in United States dollars. Why would anyone keep that much cash at a farm? The money was linked directly to President Ramaphosa. Phala Phala is his private property, after all. That raises serious legal and ethical questions, my people. South Africa has strict foreign currency laws. The president says it came from a legitimate business transaction. He says a Sudanese businessman, Hazim Mustafa, visited to buy buffaloes. Mr. Mustafa happened to then pay him in cash. The money was stored at the house for safekeeping until it was able to be banked. But that answer led to way more questions. Why pay entirely in cash? Deals of this size are usually bank transfers. safer, and traceable. Cash for a head of state is highly unusual, my people. The court is now examining the alleged sale. It's about more than the amount, it's transparency and accountability that we deserve as South Africans. Storing undeclared foreign cash creates the appearance of something that is definitely hidden. The situation cast a shadow over the president's reputation. It gave political opponents a potent weapon. And obviously, for ordinary South Africans, millions in cash at a farm seems very unreal. It highlights distance between leadership and citizens. The court, my people, must determine, where did the money come from? Why is it there? Whether any laws were broken, the answer will affect the theft trial, and public trust in the president and his government is very paramount in this particular instance. Another shocking element, my people, of this Phala Phala trial has been the intense fear expressed by several witnesses. This is not a normal criminal case where people feel safe to speak. The court heard that some individuals with knowledge about the theft were afraid for their lives. How did we get here? In any criminal trial, my people, the plea of the accused is a crucial, critical moment. In the Phala Phala case, the individuals charged with the theft stood before the court and actually declared that they are not guilty. Not guilty. This was a significant development. By pleading not guilty, they were not admitting to the crime. They were challenging the state to prove its case beyond a reasonable doubt. This turns the trial into a contested legal battle. It is not a simple case of sentencing confessed criminals, my people. It is a full-blown fight where every piece of evidence will be scrutinized, where questions are going to be asked, and people are going to argue over the prosecution and defense. The not guilty plea is a bombshell, to be honest. It forces the state to lay all its cards on the table. The prosecution must convince the judge that the accused broke into the president's house and stole the money. They must present a solid chain of evidence linking suspects to the scene. They must provide fingerprints, DNA, cell phone records, witness testimonies. The defense will try to poke holes in the state's case, obviously. They will attack witness credibility and the reliability of the evidence. More details, my people, about Phala Phala will become very public during this contested trial, which we are so excited about. The defense might question the president's action, which is obviously what we expect. Like, why was the theft not reported immediately? They would argue the investigation was mishandled for the start in obvious case, undermining the evidence. That puts the president's version under a very interesting microscope. The not guilty plea raises the stakes for the prosecution. A failed conviction, my people, would be a major embarrassment for the president and could fuel conspiracy theories that culprits were protected. The trial tests South Africa's legal system under intense scrutiny. The world is watching, my people. The fight for the truth is officially on. Perhaps the most bizarre and memorable bombshell to come out of the Phala Phala trial is the location where the money was hidden. The court heard testimony that the $580,000 in cash was not kept in a high-tech safe or maybe in a secure vault. No. Instead, it was stuffed inside a sofa. Specifically, the money was hidden within the cushions of a couch located inside President Cyril Ramaphosa's private residence on the farm. This detail, my people, sounds like something from a movie, and it immediately captured the public's imagination for reals. It is such an unusual way to store a vast sum of money. That is a lot of money to stuff in a couch. It has become a central symbol of the entire strange affair, the cash in the couch revelation, is significant because, to be honest, it raises serious questions about the nature of the money and the reasons for its storage. If the money was from maybe a legitimate business transaction, as the president has claimed, why was it not handled with more care? Hiding cash in furniture is not standard practice for any legal business, and in actual fact, the president is a legal person. It suggests a desire to keep the money hidden and off the official record. This has fueled speculation that the money was not meant to be declared. One of the most persistent questions in the Phala Phala saga revolves around the money itself. Why was the business deal of this size conducted in cash and in US dollars and not rands? Hi guys, this detail is going to definitely be explored at length in the trial, and it will remain a central bombshell. The court has examined the practice of handling large cash transactions, and testimony made it clear that this was highly unusual. Standard practice for international business, especially for amounts over $500,000, my people, is to be electronically transferred through the bank. These transfers are secure, they are traceable, and comply with international laws that are designed to prevent money laundering and the financing of terrorism in actual fact. The president's camp says the buyer, the Sudanese businessman, insisted on paying in cash, but explanation met with skepticism. Financial experts paint a very interesting story, because they are pointing out South Africa having strict currency controls. Any person bringing large amounts of foreign currency must declare it at the border, and the customs must be declared with the form, a declaration form for that matter. A passport must be shown, an airline ticket must be seen. There is no evidence, my people, that $580,000 was declared on entry, which would be a violation already of the law. Accepting huge cash without ensuring legal requirements is actually a major point of suspicion. It honestly creates the impression that someone wanted to avoid the banking system, that banks are required to report large or suspicious transactions to authorities. But keeping the deal in cash is obviously going to privatize the transaction, and that is outside regulators' views. This is why the practice is associated with illegal activities, my people. And this is what we currently see today. In the modest world, our phones are silent witnesses to our lives.